After President Trump's speech on opioid addiction, calling it a public health emergency, which of course is not nearly enough, as many experts have pointed out, White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway unsurprisingly echoed the president by saying, hey man, look, what we're doing is more than enough because the best way to stop people from dying from drug abuse is just by not starting or not doing drugs in the first place. Watch.
A lot of people said on both sides of the aisle, they thought the president's speech today was powerful, emotional, and obviously with the First Lady, which is rare on a policy issue.
We agree completely. It was a very long and heartfelt speech. The president took a moment to speak very passionately and personally about his own older brother's struggle with alcoholism and his death at a very young age. And basically the president echoed the message that many healthcare providers and elected officials say, which is the best way to stop people from dying from overdoses and drug abuse is by not starting in the first place. That's a big core message for our youth that the First Lady is continuing to push with prevention education.
Hey man, just don't stop, just don't start doing drugs in the first place. Well, no shit. Of course it's better to not start doing drugs in the first place. Unfortunately, that doesn't really address the people, the reasons that a lot of people have started using opioids, okay? Now, again, a lot of pharmaceutical companies and members of Congress have actually made it a lot easier for these drugs to get into the hands of regular people. Doctors end up getting paid kickbacks for this, for prescribing these drugs. Okay, and look, a lot of these politicians are lobbied by the drug industry. I mean, look at Tom Marino. He was going to be Trump's drug czar, and then that 60 Minutes report came out where he was basically, voting to make it easier for these drug distributors to distribute drugs to these small towns that are being heavily impacted by those drugs. So, look, these are powerful drugs too, and they have very addictive qualities. And look, a lot of people who end up taking these, it's not that they're looking to go and get high. These are people who have had like surgery or, or get injured or something, and they end up taking these pills and getting addicted. And look, that addiction doesn't end when they run out of pills. No, they end up going to sometimes, in many cases, stronger things or dying from overdose. So it's got nothing to do with, like I said, children or the youth. As she points out, the people most affected by this are white, middle-class people over 50. And that's the truth of it. Nothing in this campaign is actually aimed at stopping, preventing the drugs from getting into the hands of those people. And doesn't really do a whole lot to help people who are already addicted. I mean, launching a Just Say No program is not effective. There's no research that backs it up. But what we could do that actually works is we could regulate these drugs better. We could stop these companies from giving doctors gifts and special kickbacks for basically acting like drug dealers in lab coats. Look, Kellyanne Conway is basically, and Trump, they're not interested in solving the problem. Maybe it's too complex for them. Nobody knew, drug addiction would be that hard, this complicated. Or maybe he doesn't care. Maybe it was just nothing more than a hollow, empty campaign promise by his campaign. I don't know. I mean, for the, millions of Americans who voted for Donald Trump, who thought that he was actually going to do something to really help ease the opioid crisis and the suffering that's going on. Do you feel like you're winning yet? Because I certainly don't. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.